Hola, amigos. I know that some of you are starting some Spanish lessons with Miss Cecily, so I'm going to start throwing in a little bit of Spanish as well to test your knowledge, and the more you hear it, the easier it's going to get. So, today, we're going to read some more Stuart Little. Are we on chapter 9? Wow. So we're on chapter 9, and we left off with Stuart stuck on a boat heading out to sea filled with trash. So let's find out what in the world is happening next.
Well,
thought Stuart,
this is about the worst thing that could happen to anybody. I guess this will be my last ride in this world.
For he knew that the garbage would be towed 20 miles out and dumped into the Atlantic Ocean.
I guess there's nothing I can do about it,
he thought hopelessly.
I'll just have to stay here bravely and die like a man. But I wish I didn't have to die with an egg on my pants and butter on my cap and gravy on my shirt and orange pulp in my ear and banana peel wrapped around my middle.
The thought of death made Stuart sad. He began to think of his home and of his father and mother and brother and of Margalo and Snowbell and of how he loved them, all but Snowbell, and what a pleasant place his home was, especially in the early morning with the light just coming in through the curtains and the house stirring and waking. The tears came into his eyes when he realized that he would never see them again. He was still sobbing when a small voice behind him whispered, "Stuart." He looked around through his tears, and there, sitting on a Brussels sprout, was Margalo.
"Margalo!"
cried Stuart.
"How did you get here?"
"Well," said the bird, "I was looking out the window this morning when you left home, and I happened to see you get dumped into the garbage truck. So I flew out the window and followed the truck, thinking you might need help."
"I've never been so glad to see anybody in all my life," said Stuart. "But how are you going to help me?"
"I think if you'll hang on to my feet," said Margalo, "I can fly ashore with you. It's worth trying anyway. How much do you weigh?"
3 ounces and a half,
said Stuart. "With your clothes on?" asked Margalo. "Certainly," replied Stuart modestly. "Then I believe I can carry you all right."
"Suppose I get dizzy," said Stuart.
"Don't look down," replied Margalo. "Then you won't get dizzy."
"Suppose I get sick to my stomach?"
"No, it says,
suppose I get sick at my stomach."
"You'll just have to be sick," the bird replied. "Anything is better than death."
"Yes, that's true,"
Stuart agreed. "Hang on, then. We may as well get started." Stuart tucked his skates into his shirt, stepped gingerly onto a tuft of lettuce, and took a firm grip onto Margalo's ankles.
"All right!"
he cried. There is a picture. A beautiful singing Margalo helping Stuart. With a flutter of wings, Margalo rose into the sky, carrying Stuart along, and together they flew out over the office and headed toward home.
"Phew,"
said Margalo when they were high in the sky.
"You smell
awful, Stuart."
"I know I do,"
he replied gloomily.
"I hope it isn't making you feel bad."
"I can hardly breathe," she answered. "My heart is pounding into my breast. Isn't there something you can drop to make yourself lighter?"
"Well, I guess I could drop these ice skates," said Stuart.
"Goodness me," the little bird cried. "I didn't know you have skates hidden in your shirt. Toss those heavy skates away quickly, or we will both come down in the ocean and perish." Stuart threw his skates away and watched them fall down, down, till they disappeared in the gray waves below. "That's better," said Margalo. "Now we're all right. I can already see the towers and chimneys of New York." Here at the bottom, you can see the ice skates hitting the ocean, or the water. 15 minutes later, in they flew through the open windows of Little's living room and landed on the Boston Fern. Mrs. Little, who had left the window up when she missed Margalo, was glad to see them back, after she was beginning to worry. When she heard what had happened, here is a picture of their house in New York. And how near she had come to losing her son, she took Stuart in her hand, even though his clothes smelled nasty, and kissed him. Then she sent him upstairs to take a bath, and sent George out to take Stuart's clothes to the cleaner. "What was it like out there in the Atlantic Ocean?" inquired Mr. Little, who had never been very far from home. So Stuart and Margalo told all about the ocean and the gray waves curling with white crests, and the gulls in the sky, and the channel buoys, and the ships and the tugs, and the wind making a sound in your ears. Mr. Little sighed and said someday he hoped to get away from business long enough to see all those fine things. Everyone thanked Margalo for saving Stuart's life, and at supper time, Mrs. Little presented her with a tiny cake, which had seeds sprinkled on top. Margalo is a pretty cute little bird, isn't she? Chapter 10, Springtime. Snowbell, the cat, enjoyed nighttime more than daytime. Perhaps it was because his eyes liked the dark, but I think it was because there are always so many worthwhile things going on in New York at night. Snowbell had several friends in the neighborhood. Some of them were house cats, others were store cats. He knew a Maltese cat in the A&P, a white Persian in the apartment house next door, a tortoise shell in the Delectacin, a deli. That's what that means. A tiger cat in the basement of the branch library, and a beautiful young Angora who had escaped from a cage in a pet shop on 3rd Avenue and had gone to live a free life of her own in the tool house of the small park near Stuart's home. One fine spring evening, Snowbell had been calling on the Angora in the park. He started home late, and it was such a lovely night, she said, she would walk along with him to keep him company. When they got to Mr. Little's house, the two cats sat down at the foot of a tall vine, which ran up the side of the house past George's bedroom. This vine was useful to Snowbell because he could climb it at night and crawl into the house through George's open window. Snowbell began telling his friend about Margalo and Stuart. "Goodness," said the Angora cat. "You mean to say you live in the same house with a bird and a mouse and don't do anything about it?" "That's the situation," replied Snowbell. "But what can I do about it? Please remember that Stuart is a member of the family, and the bird is a permanent guest, like myself." And here are the two cats chatting away. Ooh, what do you notice up at the top here? What's that picture about? "Well," said Snowbell's friend, "all I can say, you've got more self-control than I have." "Doubtless," said Snowbell. "However, I sometimes think I've got too much self-control for my own good. I've been terribly nervous and upset lately, and I think it's because I'm always holding myself in." You guys ever felt that way? Like you are trying so hard to keep yourself together that you are just losing it? It's easy to feel that way right now when we're kept inside most of the day and not able to see our friends. It's really easy to feel like you're losing a part of yourself. The cats' voices grew louder, and they talked so loudly that they never heard a slight rustling in the vine a few feet above their heads. It was a gray pigeon who had been asleep there and who had awakened at the sound of cats. So it began to listen. "This sounds like an interesting conversation," said the pigeon to himself. "Maybe I'd better stay around and see if I can learn something here." "Look here," he heard the Angora cat say to Snowbell. "I admit that a cat has a duty toward her own people, and that under the circumstances it would be wrong for you to eat Margalo. But I'm not a member of your family, and there is nothing to stop me from eating her, is there?" "Nothing that I can think of offhand," said Snowbell. "Then here I go," said the Angora, starting up the vine. Wishful thinking. No, just kidding. The vine. The pigeon was wide awake by this time, ready to fly away. But the voices down below continued. "Wait a minute," said Snowbell. "Don't be in such a hurry. I think you better go in there tonight." "I don't think you'd better go in there tonight." "Why not?" asked the other cat. "Well, for one thing, you're not supposed to enter our house. It's unlawful entry, and you might get into trouble." "I won't get into any trouble," said the Angora. "Please wait until tomorrow night," said Snowbell firmly. "Mr. and Mrs. Little will be going out tomorrow night, and you won't be taking such a risk. It's for your own good I'm suggesting this." "Oh, all right," agreed the Angora. "I guess I can wait. But tell me where I'll find the bird after I do get in." "That's simple," said Snowbell. "Climb the vine, enter George's room through the open window, then go downstairs and you'll find the bird asleep in the Boston fern on the bookcase." "Easy enough," said the Angora, licking her chops. I'm obliged to you, sir. Well, that old thing, whispered the pigeon to himself, and he flew away quickly to find a piece of writing paper and pencil. Now, do you guys think that a bird can actually write with a pencil and paper? This story is probably not true, right? So this is a fiction, means a fake story or a made-up story. Snowbell said good night to his friend and climbed up the vine and went to bed. Next morning, Margalo found a note on the branch of her fern when she woke. It said, "Beware of a strange cat who will come by tonight." It was signed, "A Well-Wisher." She kept the note under her wing all day, wondering what she had better do, but she didn't dare show it to anyone, not even Stuart. She couldn't eat. She was so frightened. "What had I better do?" she kept saying to herself. Finally, just before dark, she hopped up to an open window, and without saying anything to anybody, she flew away. It was springtime, and she flew north, just as fast as she could fly, because something inside her told her that north was the way for a bird to go when spring comes to the land. Here is a picture of the pigeon writing her note. And here is a picture of her flying away. Sorry, my hands are shaky. And that's where we're going to stop for today. Do you guys think she's going to come back? I hope she does. Stuart really liked her. But the pigeon saved her life. That's pretty cool, right? All right, well, I'm going to let all of you think about what you think is going to happen next. Email me your predictions. I've only been getting a couple. I got a prediction from Archer and Bella, a prediction from Audrey, a prediction from Liam, and then I think there was one more, but I can't remember which one of you sent it. So if you haven't sent in a prediction, please do. It helps us think forward and see if what we think is going to really come true or not. Have a great day. Bye.